Welcome to the FitBiz Accelerator, your ultimate guide to launching, growing, and scaling a thriving online fitness business. I'm your host, Tobias Young. And whether you're just starting out or looking to take your business to the next level, this podcast is packed with actionable tips, real-world strategies, and the insights you need to crush your business goals and build the business of your dreams. Now that you're here, let's dive in. Welcome back to another episode of the FitBiz Accelerator. This is the show where we give online fitness coaches the tools, the strategies, and the insights to launch, grow, and scale their business without the overwhelm. I'm your host, Tobias Young, and today I'm fired up because we got an incredible guest who's going to drop some serious wisdom, especially if you coach women in midlife or looking to create a business that gives you freedom. So joining me today is Melissa Johnson. And Melissa's not only a world champion pro fitness competitor and the founder of Custom Fitness by MJ. She's also one of my wonderful, amazing clients inside the Elite Level Coaches. And I've had the privilege of seeing firsthand how she leads with integrity, gets amazing results for her clients, and continues to level up her business. And with over 20 years of experience, Melissa's helped hundreds of women lose weight, restore their metabolism, and build the lasting strength without crash diets or endless hours of cardio. She's not only an athlete, she's a lifestyle coach. She's a business owner and somebody who's created a sustainable, values-driven approach to coaching that's helping women feel stronger, more confident, and in control of their health again. Melissa, welcome to the show.
Hello. Thank you for having me.
You're so welcome. Melissa, I want to start by setting the stage. You've got this incredible background, professional athlete, decades of experience, and now an in-demand coach for women in midlife. Can you share just a little bit of just in
I lost you.
That was weird. Okay.
There you are.
I'm back. Okay.
I was like, oh,
Not sure what happened in there, but that's what happens when you are jamming. So, but we are still here live and getting things rolling. So just had a little bit, looks like the Wi-Fi, something like that. But anyhow, what I was saying is that I want to start by setting the stage because you got this crazy great background, like you're a professional athlete, you've got decades of experience, and now you're an in-demand coach for women that are in midlife, right? Can you share a little bit about your journey and how you went from the whole figure and bodybuilding stage to running Custom Fitness by MJ?
Sure, absolutely. So I started out in the industry 25 years ago, and I was just a personal trainer. And I just fell in love with, helping people. But at that time, I did it for about 5 years, and it was just one of those things where I was just like, I don't want people to depend on me. So I'm just going to step away. It's not fulfilling me like I thought it would. And then I got a full-time job working in corporate world for years and ended up being a payroll manager. But I did a lot of fitness stuff. Like all I did was study it, teach on myself, and I helped people on the side.
Mm-hmm.
But then once I had my son in 2010, I didn't want to work anymore outside of the house. I wanted to be with him all the time.
Yeah.
So I started to think about ways that I could do that. And coaching came around. And it started out as just me having people come to my home and doing in-person check-ins. And at that time, I was like crushing it in the fitness world. So I was competing and winning, and I was a pro and all these things. So whoever I was attracting was mostly competitors, hardly any lifestyle people.
Mm-hmm.
But word of mouth spread so quickly that I was full within a year. So I started my business in 2013. And in 2014, I was able to fully quit working outside the home and work with people, coaching them one on one, full time.
Gotcha.
And that's how I got started. And that's when I started my business, but it has evolved since then, to a specific niche that is thriving, that is in demand like you wouldn't believe. And also it's something that is near and dear to my heart because I am about to turn 46. So I'm going through that midlife shift myself. So it only makes sense that I'm able to help women go through it as well.
That's crazy, MJ. You don't look a day over 30. Like if you see her, she's just like she looks 30. She looks like she's in one of the best. She makes me look like out of shape. So MJ, dude, you gotta stop
Thank you.
being so good in shape. Just kidding. And one of the things that I really admire about your work, MJ, is how you specializes in women in midlife, right? And that's a group that often feels like their bodies have, they suddenly changed and nothing seems to work anymore. What are some of the biggest challenges that you see these clients facing, whether it's metabolic adaptation, whether it's, hormone related weight gain, or just kind of the mindset hurdles that keeps them stuck?
It's so many things all lumped into one, and it is like the perfect storm for them. And, most, not most, every single lady that comes to me has been over dieted, overworked, and then the hormone shift causes weight gain, fat gain in areas that they've never had an issue before. So it's usually your abdomen. And so they come to me frustrated and stuck, and they think that they need to be eating less and working out more, when in reality, due to metabolic adaptation, their metabolisms have slowed. And so instead of dieting harder, what they need to do is work on restoring their proper metabolic function. So it goes against everything that they've ever believed in or been told by anybody. A caloric deficit creates fat loss, not if you're already starving. And so what I do is I work with them to restore their metabolic function, which takes time, but you know, with the majority of my clients within the first month, they're already seeing results because their bodies have been so starved for so long of a period of time that they just start to feel safe again, so that they will release that body fat and then the inflammation that they're holding on to. But it's also something that I really work with my clients on is their mindset. Like that is something that is not touched upon by the majority of coaches. The majority of coaches just give you a plan and tell you to follow it, and it's going to create magic. But really, if you don't attack the negative self-talk, the perfection mindset, the all or nothing mindset, and then retrain those habits to create stackable, healthier habits, you're never going to create sustainable change. And your body is going to, anybody could get in shape, anybody could lose 30 pounds, 100 pounds, whatever it is, but not many people can sustain it because the way that they get there is not sustainable. So we work together to devise a plan that will fit into their life, not the other way around.
Yeah, I love that. And you've had so many incredible transformations with your clients. And one story that really stood out to me was about a woman. And she came to you at 54 years old. And she was stuck in those years of yo-yo dieting that you were talking about. She was eating about 1,200 calories a day. And she was just burnt out. Right. And then can you kind of just break it down real quick how you approach that situation and what you focused on first and what were the final results that she ended up getting?
Yeah, yeah. So she was eating, I think, 3 meals a day when she came to me. And she was not overweight. And I want to start out by saying that because some of these ladies are not. They are just, for lack of a better term, fat, skinny fat. So
Skinny
they've
fat.
just got distributed body fat that they don't want anymore. And they don't feel strong. They feel like they're deteriorating. And this lady, her number one goal was to age gracefully. And she felt like she wasn't at that point, and she knew that she was at a place where she could still reverse the damage.
Yeah.
And she was a cardio queen. She didn't do a lot of weightlifting. So basically what we started out doing was I gave her one more meal. So I gave her 4 meals. They were evenly distributed. And that's another thing too, is a lot of people think that they eat healthy, but just because a label says healthy doesn't mean it's a healthy balance. And most women undereat protein. And so I changed her meals to get her on a balanced meal plan. So she was
Nice.
eating about 1 gram of protein per pound of body weight, which most women barely even get half of that.
Hmm.
And she was overeating fats, and just her carbs were kind of all over the place. So I got her on a solid meal structure routine, and then I got her on a weightlifting routine, and she wanted to work out 5 times a week, and she had currently only been working out 3. And so we talked about how important it is to build muscle at this stage of life, because as we age, our muscles amounts and on our frames just decrease. They just,
Yep.
it is what it is. You can't fight it, but you can slow it down by weightlifting and trying to build as much muscle as you can. So
Yeah.
that's what we focused on. Cut her cardio down to nothing. Just gave her steps, and within the first 30 days, she was already dropping and showing visible results. And so we did a 6-month program together, and almost, I would say, every other week. So we check in every week, but almost every other week, I would change her food and add more. I would give her more
Wow.
food because her body was telling me it wanted more food. Her hunger was picking up, and her energy levels would dip when she needed more food, and her body was just on fire.
Yeah.
And so I think I got her up to about 1,700 calories at the
Nice.
end of the 6 months, and her transformation is ridiculous. But she wasn't done at the end of the 6 months. She wanted more progress, and she wanted to take it a step further. And so we decided to start the actual fat loss phase of the plan, and now that's what we're working on. So we are continuing. We're in our 7th month now,
Oh
and she's
man.
still making progress, and it's so fun to watch.
What I love about that story, it wasn't just about the physical changes. It was about building trust. It was about educating her and creating a system for that would set her up for long-term success. Right? What's one limiting belief that you see, most often with your clients, and how do you reframe it to your clients?
The limiting belief is, I don't know if it's a limiting belief or just a belief in general that they have about the process.
Hmm.
Like, they want the results yesterday. And so every single one of them, we'll get on week 3 and they're like, my measurements haven't dropped yet. And it's like, listen, you have been drinking a bottle of wine a night and eating protein shakes every day for your food for the last 3 years. You can't expect your body to just be like, okay, we're good.
Yeah.
She started feeding me or whatever. Like, everybody's different too. The longer you've been out of shape, the longer it's going to take your body to feel safe and do what it needs to be doing. So that's one of the things that I work with every single one of my clients is
Yeah.
is talking them off of the ledge. I'm more of a therapist than I am a health professional that will help someone get to their goals, because it is more mental, this journey, than it is physical.
Yeah, and sometimes you have to really provide that little kick in the pants to them and just like, provide that accountability. How do you balance compassion with that accountability so clients stay on track?
Yeah, so I feel like I'm pretty good at it. I'm more of a positive reinforcement type coach.
Uh-huh.
So we will usually celebrate some sort of win at the beginning of the check-in, and then whatever they're struggling with is something that we will attack with compassion. And it's one of those things that it's like talking them to in a way to where they understand that, like, they're not alone, because this is every single problem that all these ladies have, they all have the same ones. It's just a different degree.
Yeah.
And so just explaining to them that, this is normal, because so many people are so hard on themselves. And if you are a mother and going through this midlife shift, like, the mom guilt is real. And the way that you beat yourself up about so many things just makes it worse. So having someone in your corner that you can kind of sound off with really helps you feel seen and heard. And it also helps you make more progress because you feel understood.
Yeah. Yeah, 100%. And obviously you've done some great things like helping clients, but then you've also made your business more efficient and less stressful than it was in the past. What's one system that you've actually put into place that made your coaching more efficient but also less stressful at the same time?
I just, not just, but once you and I started working together and I started picking up with like way more clients than I've ever had. I had to, so instead of doing, I would send it in their first email packet with their first plan. I would send in, here's when you need to check in Monday through Friday, pick your day. And that's when I first started. And I noticed everybody wanted to check in on Fridays. So like Friday was slammed for me. And that's not really a day I want to be slammed.
Yeah.
And then the rest of the week I'd have, stragglers here or there checking in. So what I just recently, I would say probably within the last 3 months, implemented is every time I get a new client, I give them a designated check in day.
Hmm.
And so I have my 35 clients split out evenly over Monday through Friday so that I'm working an even amount of days and hours and I'm not feeling overwhelmed when I look at my inbox. Now, there's some people that don't follow that, but that's why I love the system
Yeah.
because it's okay now.
Yeah. Man, you're up to 35 clients. I love that. And how do you structure client check-ins to go beyond just the macros and workouts and really touch on that mindset and lifestyle?
Yeah, so that's really, the changes that that I make on client plans are typically maybe every other week for diet, and then workouts only change once a month. So I'm not doing a lot of
Nice.
intense providing plans for them. It is the support and the accountability
Good.
that is the biggest part of my coaching. And so regardless of what journey they're on, I do have a few contest prep clients, but all my lifestyle clients still check in once a week
Yeah.
because it is super important to help them stay on track. And even if they're not making progress from week to week, we discuss why that could be, or just explaining, hey, it's going to take your body a little bit longer. I have a lady who I haven't changed her stuff in 6 weeks. I changed her workouts, but I haven't changed her diet, and I'm starting to wonder why I'm not adding more food. So now we're investigating,
Hmm.
and I'm having her send me her meals broken down and what time she eats them so that I can say, look, I'm like, you should be hungry by now. And if you're not, we need to investigate why. So it's a lot of problem solving on my end. But it's also that level of support that is, holding their hand as they transition into a new week and keeping them motivated and kind of mentally in the game.
Yeah, and that's a great point about that you only, adjust their workouts maybe every 3 to 4 weeks, something like that. Because I know a lot of newer online trainers are like, "Ah, well, I'm gonna adjust them every single week." And you think that you're giving more value to your clients. But it's not. It's literally confusing and overwhelming your clients. If they're having to constantly learn all new routines every single week, one, it's going to be a lot more work for you, and another, it's like they need time to be able to acclimate to a program and work on like their form and build their strength and so forth. So that's one thing that I can tell that you have really polished is the type of coaching that you do and how you do your progressions and things. And as somebody with 20 plus years of experience, what would you tell a newer coach about building longevity inside the business?
I would say be patient and offer more than just the plan. Whatever that is, if it's a level of support or, accountability or, like I know that you aren't okay with this, but I give all of my clients my phone number and tell them to text me in between check-ins. They are not limited to that one time a week to address issues or, ask for support. And
Hmm.
even some of them that have my phone number are still very respectful and they will email me
Yeah.
instead. But I mean, that's what I'm here for. And of course, I do turn my phone off and I don't, I have limits and I set those boundaries. Like I don't work on weekends. And that's another thing too. Yes, that's another thing too is you can't stretch yourself too thin. Even when you're trying to build a business, you still have to have time for yourself because there is such a thing as burnout.
Hmm.
And people can wait an extra day for their plans so that you can have a life because if you set the standard that you're always available for them, there are going to be people that are going to take advantage of that and you will never have a moment to yourself.
Yeah, no, I agree. You need that. It's a necessary component to your business. What's a
Yes.
lesson that you actually you took from bodybuilding or fitness competing, and you carried that over into your coaching business?
I think maybe the routine and structure that bodybuilding has given me,
Yeah,
just like planning ahead, and that's my single mom part of me too. I always have to be one step ahead of the game.
yeah,
So, it has really helped me to just be organized and also understand, within my own personal journey of bodybuilding, like no prep has been the same. I've done over 50 shows my whole entire life, and my prep has never been the same. My body has adapted. And so that has helped me kind of understand from my own aspect that everybody is different, and there's no one way to skin a cat.
mhm,
I have to treat everybody as an individual that is different. And so reading bodies is very, very important in this industry.
yeah. One thing that I've taken from and that I noticed from the coaching aspect, from competition to bringing it into having a successful business, is I see the coaches, that competed, and you have that grind, you have it instilled that no matter if you feel like it or whether you don't, you just get the things done that you need to do. You still go to the gym even when you don't feel like it. You still get that extra cardio session in when you don't feel like it. You still eat your bland food right when you want to have something else. You just do it. You get those reps in every single day because you know that that's what it's going to take to get you to that end result. Right? With coaching, you have to do the same type of things. You're not always going to be like, oh, I want to go film a bunch of reels, or yeah, I want to have a bunch of DM conversations, or I want to do this or that. But the coaches that just say, hey, this is what I need to do every single day to get my business to where it needs to be, just like, hey, that's what you need to do to get your physique where it needs to be. Those are the ones that I see that do so well. So there's no surprise that competitors for a lot of the time do really well when it comes to the business because they're not scared to do the things that you don't always enjoy the most. Sometimes you enjoy, sometimes you don't, but you just know that you got to do it to get it
Hmm.
done. And when things get tough, MJ, what keeps you motivated to be able to show up for your clients even when you don't feel like
Ooh, that's a good question, and something that I've recently experienced.
it?
And because I'm deep in prep, and this is like you and I were talking, this is my last year competing. So um, I have been mentally drained. Physically, I feel fine. But mentally, I'm over it. Um, but I still have to show up for my 35 clients. And so, what's really, really weird is that I actually thrive on that. I think it's because of my personality that I'm a fixer by trade. So that's why I'm such a great coach. But I actually delve into my clients more when I'm suffering or struggling because helping them gives me gratification. It fills me on
Yeah.
the inside. And so I really like I started doing more lives, for a little while. I wasn't doing hardly any lives in my private group for a while, and I was just making excuses as to why I wasn't. And then one day I was like, you know what, you need to just do this. Just do this. And I got on there and I felt so much better as soon as I started talking to them and hearing them, give me some whatever it is, encouragement or whatever, feedback or responding and saying hi and we missed you and, all those things. And it's like, that helps me get through my rough patches. So I don't show up better, but I feel like it helps me thrive when I'm struggling, if that makes sense.
Yeah, it does make sense. And what I've noticed that is like a lot of the majority, I should say, of the very high level performance coaches, the Tony Robbins and all those big ones, they dealt through a lot of trauma when they were in their upbringing, in their childhood. And I dealt with my own stuff. And I feel like because you go through things yourself that hurt you, you want to help others so they don't feel the pain. So same thing, like you feel the pain of like, "Oh, I am so overcompete. I just want it to be done. And but you want to be there to be able to help your clients. And that's one thing that I have noticed. If you could go back and you can give your younger coaching self advice, what would it be
Um,
if you were starting your coaching business over again?
Probably be, you know, don't overdo it. Don't, it was just like I was riding a high when I grew so quickly in the beginning, that it became a part where I was just doing too much as a coach and I was too readily available. Like I said, never had any off days, any of that stuff. And then I was competing on top of all of that. And that's honestly why I ended up my business suffered really, really bad in 2016 when I took a break from competing,
Mhm.
because I was burnt out on so many aspects, and it was one of those things where it's like, well, if I can't motivate myself, how can I motivate other people? How can I coach other people if I don't know what I'm doing? And so it took me a very long time to overcome that once I fell down, but I mean, I'm happy to be standing still.
Yeah, and you're thriving too, which is great. And you're only continuing to blossom. So, another thing that really stands out about you is your social media presence. Like you keep it authentic, you keep it relatable, you keep it very client focused. What's your approach to showing up online in a way that builds authority, but also keeps you aligned with your values and resonates with your tribe?
So I like to mix up the way that I show up online, and I do, as far as my posting goes, I really kind of rotate in certain, one day it's a carousel, one day, just an informative post, and then another day is a talking heads reel, and then another one is a client transformation. And I'm shocked that I have not run out of client transformations yet, but everybody is killing it. And so, like I'm surprising myself. And what's funny is like I was never I was present on social media. I've probably posted every day for the last, I don't know, maybe 7 or 8 years, but I lacked consistency with the niche. So
Mhm.
that's one of the things that you helped me establish. And now it's all about my niche.
Yeah.
And so nobody questions who I help or what I do. When they reach out to me, they already know that I am the midlife women's coach. It's who I help. Um, I do have a few people that ask me if I coach competitors, which is crazy because I was known as the competitor coach back in the day, so
Yep.
it is working. But I really just try to rotate with what I provide for them, and I really am not salesy. I'm never salesy. I try to provide as much informational and educational content that I can, because that is how people will trust you.
Yep. Good. And Melissa, this has been amazing. Before we wrap up, I'd like to know if you can leave one takeaway for coaches that are listening in right now. Could be anything. What would it be?
A client is not just a number. A client is a true being, and being a good coach is not about providing a plan. Being a good coach is knowing how to read someone and provide a level of service that puts everybody else to shame. Like it is a personal journey with every single one of your clients, because truth be told, a plan will work for anyone. I could give the majority of people the same plan and it will work for them, but the personal experience is what helps them thrive, helps them get the results, and helps them keep the results.
Bam. Have some truth sauce, everybody out there. Melissa, thank you so much for joining us today and sharing such powerful insights. And if somebody's looking to find more about your coaching, or they just want to be able to connect with you, where's the best place they can find you?
Yeah, absolutely. The best place is Instagram, and that is @_fit FITMJ.
All right. So for everybody listening, here's what I hope you take away. You don't have to sacrifice your weekends. You don't have to burn out unless you're competing in 6 competitions. Yeah, just kidding. She's like, I can't wait till I'm done. Or compromise your values to build a successful business, right? With the right systems, with clear messaging, and a focus to sustainability, you can deliver incredible client results and create a coaching business that supports your lifestyle too. And if you got value from today's episode, make sure to subscribe, leave a review, and share this with another coach who needs to hear it. Melissa, thank you again. It's been a pleasure having you. And for everybody else, I'll catch you on the next episode of the Fit Biz Accelerator. Thanks for tuning in to the Fit Biz Accelerator. If you found value in today's episode, make sure to subscribe so you never miss a tip or strategy to grow your online fitness business. And if you're ready to fast track your success, don't forget to check out tntfitprocoaching.com. Until next time, stay consistent, stay focused, and keep crushing it.